Have you ever noticed that some real estate investors sound credible even before they have to even prove anything? And others just sound uncertain almost instantly. And here's what's pretty interesting about investor credibility. It usually has very little to do with experience. You can be brand new to real estate wholesaling and still sound credible. Meanwhile, it's possible you might have a ton of experience and for whatever reason, you create doubt almost instantly depending on the conversation. A lot of times it has to do with perhaps the way you're hesitating. In this video, I'm gonna break down for you exactly why is it that some real estate investors sound credible almost instantly while others lose trust and credibility silently without even realizing sometimes that they're doing it. Welcome back to the REI Edge. This channel is about real estate education fundamentals without a ton of hype, and how real estate investing and strategies like wholesaling work in the real world. And believe it or not, this topic matters more than most people realize. Because in real estate wholesaling and in real estate investing, people are constantly having to decide if they trust you or not. Sellers, buyers, other investors, pretty much everyone. Now let's break down exactly what actually creates trust. Let's start off by covering what is it that real estate wholesalers typically get wrong about investor credibility. A lot of beginning investors think that credibility comes from sounding flashy with a ton of real estate jargon so that you can sound professional, or aggressive confidence that borders on arrogance, or pretending to know everything about every possible situation. And finally, using insider jargon to try to sound like an insider. When in reality, most real estate professionals sound calm, they sound confident, they're pretty clear in their communication, pretty measured, and they sound emotionally steady when they're talking to whomever they're talking, whether it be the buyer, the seller, or other investors. Now, why is that? Because confidence typically doesn't sound loud. It just sounds confidence, steady, calm. Think about it for a minute. When you actually speak to someone that's confident or is experiencing what they're doing, how do they typically sound? They sound pretty calm. They talk at a reasonable pace. They don't use a ton of jargon. They're just not trying to impress you with what they're talking about. They don't need to convince you. They don't need to perform for you. They just know, and you kind of feel that almost immediately. Now, here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people lose investor credibility in very small ways they don't even notice. Let me give you some examples so that you see what this looks like in the real world. Number one is over-explaining everything. When somebody is trying to over-explain, it's almost as if they don't really believe what they're saying, and the listener kind of feels like, why is he going into all this detail? Sometimes, you ever heard the term, the more details, typically the bigger the lie? And even if you're not lying, what happens is that person perceives it that way. So that's one of the things you want to avoid. The other one is talking too fast. Speed typically signals nervousness. Now here's where I got to be a little upfront. I tend to talk fast naturally. It's just part of the way I talk. So one of the things I have to do, whether it's making some of these videos, talking to a seller, talking to an investor, I literally have to remind myself to pace myself. So if you're like me and you speak fast, make sure that you pace yourself. Make sure that you slow down, pause when appropriate. It makes it sound way more natural and as if you're calm and steady. Another example could be constantly changing direction. One of the things you have to do if you need to, write down maybe a few key points that you don't want to forget. And if you're in front of the person, don't feel nervous about the fact that you might say, hey, this meeting is so important, or this conversation is so important. I wrote down a few things. I just want to make sure I stay on track. If you don't mind, every now and then, I'm going to look over my notes to make sure we're on track during this conversation, while at the same time not losing any credibility. Another thing could be sounding emotionally reactive. What does that sound like, or what does that look like? If you're the type of person that tends to get defensive or sound defensive sometimes, right? Because you're thinking about what you want to ask or what you want to say next, and you sound either impatient or you sound like you're a little bit emotionally getting worked up during the conversation, even if the person is upset because they're losing their house and they sound a little bit on edge. Try not to allow that emotional charge to reflect on you as well. because what that's going to do is going to make the person feel like your emotions are up or down. Or when you're calling the person to follow up, try again to mentally be prepared so that you don't sound like you're pushing them, like you're on edge because you're desperate to get this deal closed. Those are all indicators or ways that someone could lose trust without even realizing. The other thing is trying way too hard to impress the other person. So that could come across a few different ways. One, in some of the way you're talking. The other thing might be some of the way you're dressing. You don't want to be underdressed, but you definitely don't want to be overdressed, right? Trying to brag about certain things, or trying to impress them with some of the jargon and stuff like that within this industry. You know, like, hey, we got to check the ARV, we got to do it by COB, and all that jargon is going to create confusion. You want to keep things simple. Hey, listen, we're going to look at the property to see where the value is at based on current market conditions. That's okay. Say something like that. We're going to make an estimate of what the repairs might cost. And then we're going to work on a few things on our end and get back to you, or something along those lines where you're not using just a ton of jargon. Keep things simple. Keep things where maybe a 7th grader could understand it. It's going to do way more to build trust on your behalf than trying to impress them with a bunch of industry jargon. Because here's the irony in this whole thing. Sometimes the harder that you're trying to sound credible, trying to impress the other person, you're actually losing trust even if you don't realize it. Now let's make this concept a little more concrete by using 2 different wholesalers as an example so that you can see what I'm talking about. Here goes wholesaler number 1. Hey man, I think we can make this work, but maybe if my buyer comes through and thinks it needs more repairs, maybe we might have to adjust the repairs. I'm just not sure. You know, I'm gonna check on the value, but I'm not sure. We'll see what we can do. We'll try to see if we can make this work. As you can see, that sounds a little unsure of themselves. Now, how about wholesaler number 2? If wholesaler number 2 comes across like this, based on the current condition of the property, the estimated repairs, current market conditions, and what other properties are selling for in the area, I believe that the numbers coming in at this is probably what's going to make the most sense for us. If you think that works for you as well, here's what we can do. We can go over that, and then we'll go over what the next steps will be to help us move forward in this process. As you can see from the 2, one sounds way more confident than the other. Wholesaler number 1 sounds like he's even unsure if the buyer's gonna actually come through, if the buyer's gonna agree with the numbers, if he's even unsure about the cost of the repairs, the ARV. That first wholesaler even sounds unsure that the wholesale deal is even gonna work at all. Every other word sounds like a hesitation, like an unsureness of the person. They're just not sure if they know what they're doing. And it just feeds into doubt. Wholesaler number 2 sounds grounded, not arrogant, not pushy, and subconsciously, right? When you tell someone based on the current condition of the property, the estimated repairs needed, current market conditions, and what similar properties are selling for in the area, these are the numbers that should work for us. Let's see if that works for you as well so that we can go on to the next steps. If you notice, there's kind of a flow in that conversation. You kind of could see where did they get the numbers without them telling you where I got the numbers from specifically. It gives you an idea of how did they arrive at those numbers. So it kind of helps see the full picture as well, and it kind of breeds confidence. And grounded communication builds confidence in real estate negotiations. Now in these examples, wholesaler number 2 may not have done many deals, may not have that much experience, but because they sound grounded, they sound confident, it lets the other person know that you're in control, that you're not an emotional wreck, that you're not like, oh my gosh, I gotta do this deal, and that you feel pretty confident and know or have a process. That's what it's gonna convey to the other person. Because of the way this investor or wholesaler number 2 is speaking, he's not wasting time. The conversation is moving in the right direction. It builds confidence and lets the person know that you have a process, that you're ready to move on to the next step. A lot of times, the reason why new wholesalers get nervous or lose this whole conversation or lose credibility is because of the following. Number 1 is they're worried about losing a deal that they don't even have yet. They tend to talk a little fast because they're scared of sounding inexperienced if they pause even for a second. They're also worried about not knowing enough, so if somebody asks them a question, they'll panic. Here's a quick tip. If somebody asks you a question and you don't know the answer, don't panic. Remember I told you earlier to have a notepad or something with your key points to say, you know what, that's a very good question. In fact, such a good question, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna write it down, I'm gonna get back with my team and get back with you. I'd rather you do that than just go into complete panic. Just remember, you don't have to have every answer in that moment. You just have to sound confident, and you're the one guiding this conversation. I promise you, the person doesn't know more than you about real estate. I promise you that. Most people, they just know, hey, this is the house I live in, I'm about to lose it, or here's a house I have, and for whatever reason I need to sell it. They're not necessarily real estate experts. So just kind of remember that. The other thing they're worried about, new investors, is that what if they change their mind? It's not the end of the world. Ask them, hey, am I missing something? Earlier you said this and now it seems like you're unsure of yourself. Is there something you'd like to discuss with me, or am I missing anything? That lets them know that you're identifying that there might be an issue. Don't be worried or don't be scared to ask those kind of questions. Part of being a good real estate investor is being comfortable with uncomfortable conversations, because experienced real estate investors know one thing. They know that calm conversations leads to credibility, it leads to trust, and it leads to controlling the conversation and being in charge, being a leader in the transaction. In fact, a lot of experienced real estate investors pause more. They understand that silence is a powerful tool in negotiation. They're not worried about, if I pause for a minute, what if they jump in and ask me a question I don't know the answer to? Don't be scared. It's not the end of the world. It's simply a conversation. That's all that's happening. You're just having a conversation about their situation and about the property. And those two are very important. In fact, their situation sometimes is even more important than the property, right? So it's going to be very important that you remember to keep calm, to pause, ask a question, and don't keep going. Ask a question, pause, let them respond, and then continue. The last thing I want to touch on, or one of the last things, is make sure that you listen more. Whoever talks the most in a negotiation typically is losing the negotiation. The person who listens the most typically is the one controlling the negotiation and the conversation. So keep that in mind. When you explain things, explain less emotionally. Not like urgent, like, hey, I need you to decide, or somebody that sounds on edge. Be calm, be collected, be controlled in your conversation and in your questions. Also, make sure that you ask clear questions. For example, how long have you lived in the property? If you don't mind me asking, what caused you to decide to sell the property now? If we can come to an agreement, would you be ready to move forward? How soon are you looking to sell the property? What is your plan after you move out of this property? Can you tell me a little bit more about this property? Those are clear, direct, short questions that get right to the point of the things that you need to know as a real estate investor and wholesaler. There's a few hidden killers of investor credibility. Some of them are like constantly seeking validation. What do you think? Does that sound okay? What are your thoughts? So things like that might also lead the person to believe that you're kind of unsure of yourself if you constantly feel like you're trying to get validation from them. Other examples are like, right? You know what I mean? Like you're constantly like seeking that validation. Because every time you do that, what you're actually signaling is, I want to make sure that I'm right because I'm unsure if this person's going to move forward or not, and I'm really unsure of myself. That's really what you're signaling, even if it's not what you're saying. Another thing might be like over checking reactions, constantly looking for the nods or looking at their body language, desperately trying to find a signal of negativity, of unsureness in the other person when you're communicating with them. Another thing could be like sounding desperate for approval. Hey, I really think this could be great for you. Have you ever been in a situation where someone just, like you go into a situation to either buy a car, buy a house, buy something, and the person sounds so anxious to get you to a yes that you almost feel uncomfortable. You're not even sure why. This is exactly what that feeling is, what I'm talking about. Another example might be trying too hard to sell yourself, right? Hey, I got a ton of experience. I've done this before. There's nothing I haven't seen before. Like sounding a little too eager to prove that you know exactly what you're doing. Now, why do I bring this all up? because professional investors don't seek validation. They focus on clarity, they present the information, they ask questions, and they let the other person decide. And that alone could change the entire energy and the interaction in a negotiation. When you're not constantly seeking validation, you're not giving away power. You're maintaining a frame of mutual evaluation. And a motivated seller can feel the difference almost immediately. At the REI Edge, we believe that investor credibility comes down to 4 key things. Number 1, emotional steadiness. Number 2, clarity, speaking clearly, slowly, and getting your point across, pausing and allowing the other person to speak as well. Consistency. In other words, what you say matches what you do. And finally, simplicity. You don't overcomplicate things just to make yourself sound smart. And if you summarize all of this, you're basically not here to perform. You're here to do a professional negotiation, to provide a service by helping the person sell a property that they need to sell. The best wholesalers in real estate don't sound hyper and overly energetic, pushy or aggressive, or definitely like dramatic and it's like it's all a performance. They sound prepared, calm, and trustworthy. Because confidence is not something you perform, it's something that you feel. And those feelings come from communication that is grounded, that's steady, that's clear. And that's exactly how real estate investors build credibility that lasts. If you want to learn more about how to wholesale real estate without losing credibility, sounding confident, and knowing exactly how to do this step by step, subscribe to the REI Edge. In the next video, I'm going to break down why most wholesalers create problems that they never needed to have, and how to avoid these self-inflicted mistakes that cost you deals. Because in real estate investing, credibility doesn't come from sounding impressive. It comes from sounding clear. And clarity is the edge.